Okay, folks, this is my emerging trends presentation. I chose to talk about the positives and negatives of measured learning. I took this trend from the Horizon Report 2017 K through 12. You'll also see my PowerPoint slide that puts in bullet fashion, so I'm going to expand upon this. So it's best to watch the video in conjunction with the slide I put up. So the whole idea is with increased technology, our ability to capture, collect data in an expedient fashion and utilize it to measure whether or not the child's learning, what are the hindrances of learning, and measure growth in a snapshot or over time. So I'll start off with the negatives. Of course, the negative provided by Horizon is the same that I attest to. Everyone loves to use measurement, but they want to take the human factor, so they tend to, at statewide tests, move to true, false, multiple choice measurements. They're quick, they're easy. The problem with the multiple choice test is it does make it hard to measure what you would call Bloom's higher levels of taxonomy or educational understanding. We're kind of scratching at the surface on what a student does know. Also, the problem with testing is, are we creating testing measured over time? When in many cases, when we look at standardized testing, especially end of the year tests, we're talking about a snapshot in time. One test to measure their mastery of knowledge. They could have had a bad day, could have had a good day, they could have missed breakfast. There's multiple factors to kids' performance, and to measure them in a snapshot in a moment. Also, our test itself might be too narrowing in focus. Great example, the Virginia SOL for World History 2 is 60 multiple choice questions. Folks, my curriculum on that is 1,500 years of world history condensed into 60 multiple choice questions to determine a student's mastery of the subject. You've got to be kidding me. But there are great positives to measuring student learning, student success. The number one is admin, educators, and support staff can capture data points outside of education itself, like student attendance, other academic things that might lead to other academic struggle, and then we can implement things. For example, at our school, we have the tardy table, and the tardy table does allow for punishment, but what we've seen is with our tardy table, attendance has gotten better at our school, and because attendance has gotten better, we've seen a measurement of better grades, which is the truth. We can create new platforms like blended learning, PBLs. We can measure real-world creative things through collaborative teams like the collaborative economics team I work with and then collaborative World History 2 teams. We create common narratives, and through common narratives, we're supporting better measurements. We can also do, for example, what we're doing in this class, online portfolio. I'm new to this. I haven't done it in a portfolio way, but I might actually have students put together portfolios to turn in. And that creates measurable documentation over a period of time. Remember, we don't want snapshots, we want measurement over time, and we want to see growth over time. Of course, lastly, measuring allows educators to examine their students' competencies, but also their practicing competencies. Maybe what adjustments do they need to make? What changes do they need to be making? Is the education providing working? Is it not? I've been teaching 15, 16 something years, and it was much harder. It was almost like it was harder to know and make assessments because you couldn't get the data that quickly. And then if you can't turn the data around and remediate and work with students, then you're not effective. Lastly, the article mentions that we've become more of a global economy. I would agree. Having measurable data and new measuring techniques in real time allow us to adjust education to become more competitive with the rest of the world stage. Students are going to compete on the world stage, and we have to be able to make quick adjustments in the modern time. Thank you very much. This has been my presentation.